have a great name. You must kill your name before he kills you.
Someone put out a silver alert, Ridley Scott is truly lost. From the writer that brought you Napoleon, and from the director that directed Napoleon, comes the most useless sequel to a standalone film you will ever see. Well, that's not true. Gladiator 2 isn't a sequel, it's a remake. And it proves that Ridley Scott needs to be put in a retirement community ASAP. He clearly hates his career, and he will do everything he can to shit on the audience that has loved his most respected movies. Kind of mind-blowing that Ridley Scott's movies over the last 10 years has been piss out of a bum's rancid ass, yet he gets a major release in theaters with Gladiator 2. Clint Eastwood still churning out bangers year after year and barely gets 50 screens with Juror Number 2. We must now bow our heads and pray that God sends down his infallible cinematic angel, Stanley Kubrick, to rectify this by the end of the video. Gladiator 2 stars Pedro Pascal, but you already guessed that because he's in everything. He plays General Acacius. He's banging the hero's mom. And by banging, I mean he does whatever Lucilla says because she has his nuts in a vice. It also stars Denzel Washington, my Gladiator. I like Denzel Washington. We all like Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington should not be in this movie because it sucks. He's also severely miscasted in the role of Macrinus, but a miscast Denzel is still a good Denzel, and he Denzels every scene he's in. Big news, apparently he kissed another man on the lips, but the scene was cut. People are trying to make this into a gay kiss, but I don't believe that one bit. First, it was Roman custom for men to touch lips, and everyone knows Romans were and still are the most hyper-masculine group on the planet, right next to the Greeks, of course. They would never have a gay custom. Second is hand placement matters. If Denzel had his hands down at his sides and just leaned in, now that's super gay. But if he had this guy's head locked in his hands with a Michael Corleone vice grip, kissing him Fredo style, once again, not gay. If anything, it's assault, which is straight and based. Lastly, who hasn't kissed a man on his lips before publicly executing him? It's literally the straightest thing you can do before you insert your sword all the way down to the hilt inside him, and he has to savor every inch of your hardened steel. Recently, Ridley said there was no gay kiss and they acted in the moment. That might sound incoherent until you realize Ridley Scott is a confused old man, and Gladiator 2 is already gay enough and doesn't need the help. Like I said, it stars Pedro Pascal. Paul Mescal is the main hero. He plays Lucius, Commodus's nephew and Lucilla's son from Gladiator. Notice I didn't say the first Gladiator. There is only one Gladiator. There will only be one Gladiator. Lucius does the same exact thing that Maximus did already, but lamer. After Maximus kills Commodus, the power vacuum led Lucilla to orphan Lucius the Lame to North Africa. She thinks this will protect him from Rome because he is the rightful heir to the throne. What a great mom. Sending your son to North Africa to protect him from Rome is the equivalent to sending your son to South Chicago because he might be bullied in Beverly Hills. Lucius grows up in North Africa and has a farm. He grows stuff. His wife grows stuff too, like a soul patch thicker than Apollo Ono's. In reality, Lucius should be thanking the Romans for killing her and taking him back home. And yeah, his hairy Sasquatch wife dies. This isn't a spoiler or anything because she only has 2 minutes of screen time. There is no dynamic between these two characters. I mean, sure, we saw Lucius kiss her on her hairy lips. There's your real gay kiss. And then she's shot with an arrow. Why was she shot with an arrow? Because she's a dirty little insurgent shooting arrows at Romans. I say at the Romans because, as a typical woman, she missed all her shots. Both he and his wife were fighting for the diverse nation of Numidia. It was a mostly peaceful nation filled with sunshine and rainbows until Whitey decided it needed to be colonized. Therefore, Rome must fall. And the only way that's going to happen is if Lucius kills his stepdad, General Acacius, whom he blames for his wife's death. Acacius didn't kill her, though. He was nowhere near killing her. He just happened to be in the vicinity of the man that did it. This kid has some serious stepdad issues. The fact of the matter is that Lucius should blame himself for being a real shitty husband. He failed his hairy bitch of a wife, by letting her fight the battle to begin with. A good husband would have died trying to protect his wife from battle. Just because she has a flavor saver dragging down her chin doesn't mean she's fit for combat, but maybe he wanted to get away from her, and he saw this as a way out. This actually makes more sense because as Gladiator 2 goes on, she is completely forgotten about. Either way, lame Lucius drips with beta male energy, failing to protect his wife even from herself. I suspect the reason they don't have kids is because she kicks the sperm out of his balls on a nightly basis, and yet he blames others for his high estrogen count. So of course bonus dad Acacius has to die, and for some reason the only way he can kill him is to become Gladiator. And so you think to yourself, no way is lame Lucius going to bag himself a general, but the beta male plot twists come early and they come often with no time to change their pants. Everyone knows Pedro Pascal is a unicorn whisperer, so it turns out his character feels like shit for winning the war against a diverse nation, so he blames co-emperors Kaka and Gay Boy. These two are bad dudes that must be taken down. Why? It's never really explained. You just have to trust they're bad because they're the whitest people on screen, and that's good enough for Hollywood. At least Maximus had a real reason for going after Commodus. Commodus had men surprise love Maximus's wife before killing her and his boy by hanging them and setting them on fire. At the same time, Commodus was seen as an existential threat to Rome, so hungry for power and approval, he killed his own father over it. All motives were understood here. Lucius the Lame sprints through Maximus's main story and is immediately thrown into the arena with these animals. I mean literally. He fights the whole zoo. Unlike Maximus, where he rose through the gladiator ranks fighting men, Lucius gets his start fighting monkeys from hell. I shit you not, I wish I was making this up. I wouldn't even dare make this up, actually. David Scarpa and Ridley Scott, on the other hand, did. And one of these two jackasses said, let's make things a little more interesting, and had to shoot the rabid monkeys with blow darts filled with roids and meth in the middle of the fight. Lucius bites a monkey, just a big chunk of monkey meat between his teeth. With blood-stained lips, he yells at the crack chimps. Macrinus is sitting in the crowd and he loves Lucius, so he purchases him. You see, Macrinus thinks that through Lucius, he can realize his dumb grand scheme of overthrowing the emperors and taking over Rome. But the sum total of Gladiator 2 is dumber than its parts, so of course this works. Next up in Beast Boxers, things get a little tougher for Lucius because he has to fight a rhinoceros. You heard that right. But he beats that by throwing pocket sand in its eyes. It's just that simple, guys. Later, they flood the Colosseum with water and have a naval battle. But that wasn't cool enough for Ridley, so they added CGI sharks with laser beams attached to their heads. Personally, I would have gone for the mutated sea bass, but that's just me. Zoologies aside, it's only at the end that the plot of Gladiator 2 deviates from Gladiator in what feels like a tacked-on ending. Lucius and Macrinus face off in the middle of a river, and the opposing armies cheer Lucius's name as if he did something other than be a giant bitch. Alright, I'm done talking about the finer points of this shit. Gladiator 2 is worthless. Anyone who tells you it's good, or says that it has some kind of redeeming value, has been lying to themselves, and or worse, they are on Big Scott's payroll, and they are lying to you on purpose. Nothing in Gladiator 2 works on any level. We don't care that Lucius's Sasquatch wife dies because she's never fleshed out. Lucius's quest for revenge makes no sense because he blames the man that stood next to the guy that killed her. We don't know if we should hate or love General Acacius. We only know that we're tired of seeing Pedro Pascal's stupid face and everything. Emperors Kaka and Gay Boy are supposedly evil. Why? Because we are told they are, but it's never shown. Macrinus might be the most fleshed out character in the movie, but his motive for power is treated as a plot twist and given us too late, like an assault kiss from your arch nemesis before he rollerblades away from you. Turns out Lucilla is a terrible mother, and Maximus is now a deadbeat father, literally and figuratively. Yes, this movie does reveal that Lucius is Maximus's son, which completely ruins his motive for revenge on Commodus. Apparently the dude was dropping more loads on Rome than an allied bomber. Maximus's line in Gladiator, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, is totally meaningless now that we know he spread more seed than a gardener. In Gladiator, Maximus was dedicated to his family, a complete and total embodiment of masculinity, willing to sacrifice everything for honor, loyalty, and what is right. None of that is to be found here in Gladiator 2. In the end of Gladiator 2, Lucius ascending to the throne feels unearned. Remember his hairy wife? Neither does he. She doesn't even flash in his mind by the end of the film. Instead, it closes out with Maximus's hand running through the field of wheat again, another piece of unearned poetry. Maximus embodies Stoic philosophy, facing death and adversity with a cool head, focusing on what he can control, his actions and his honor. Lucius's actions lack clear, compelling reasons or seem contrived for the sake of the plot. This makes him more of a puppet than a character with agency. Lucius's role in the story heavily relies on his relation to Maximus rather than his own merits or actions, making him an unearned legacy character rather than someone who deserves to be in the arena. Basically, what I'm saying is Lucius is the Diet Coke in the Pepsi Challenge. Ridley Scott has tried his damnedest to diminish all the meaning Maximus has brought to us over the years. Couple that with the fact that midly within the last 12 years has ruined the Alien franchise, Napoleon, and somehow dueling, and it has to end right here, right now. Therefore, the almighty Kubrick from Cinema Heaven has commanded that Scott's career will be entombed in the great Utah salt mines, never to be unearthed again. Gladiator 2 will be publicly executed at the center of the Colosseum and fed to the hungry Clint Eastwood at dusk. And those who claim Gladiator 2 has entertainment value will be given the mark of the Stuckman. All hail the infallible Kubrick. Do yourself a favor, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more of my award-winning personality to fix your day. Not that I care about it or anything, but I got you. I'm out of here.